Star Station Osiris. Inside the Star Station Osiris, the security camera watched closely as beads of sweat formed on the bounty hunter's brow. The unsteady elevator's lights flickered for an instant before abruptly coming back on. Corballis stood nervously braced in the corner, fully aware of every convulsive bump of the uneasy ride. He had a white-knuckled grip on the guardrail, and even that wasn't enough to keep him from being jostled against the turbo lift walls. Just then, his blue eye locked on the safety record next to the control box. He zoomed in and noticed it had a holostamp on it. It seemed someone marked the rickety east lift, safety approved. He stared suspiciously at the document, then took a deep breath. Relax. Everything's going to be okay. Suddenly, the lift jarred him again. He felt far from safe. His nerves popped while he clenched his teeth so hard his jaw hurt. Corballis hated not being in control. His head bobbled around as he stared at his reflection in the polished alloy doors. Okay, this is where I'm going to die, alone and trapped inside this elevator. The thought made him nauseous. Come on, keep it together. Only 523 floors left. The entire time, a loud clatter from the poly-mesh support girders clinked and clanked everywhere. Not to mention, the large elevator seemed to be closing in around him. Seriously unnerving. On top of everything else, there was a horrible rattle the frame made each time a floor rushed past. Although Osiris was one of the newly constructed and more lavish star stations, inside the East Lift, Osiris felt more like a death trap. The worn, open-topped lift cage continued to rock as the air violently whooshed against his ears. Corballis deliberately looked straight ahead, continuing to watch himself shake with the lift's jarring movements. He took a moment to examine himself and sighed at the crisscrossing scars dividing his face. He frowned as he realized his hair had turned almost entirely gray. The hunter looked old. He even felt old, but couldn't look away from his cyber-optic implant. His menacing bright red, mechanized eye glowed back at him unwavering, and even after all this time, he's still not used to it. He'd rather think about other things. But then, without warning, the turbo lift convulsed while he tried to focus on the mission ahead. Cold sweat dripped down his face. He could only hope this would be his last job. If he had to go out, why not take on the most dangerous bounty around?